I have videos already addressing the concept of you don't overcome smoking. You don't successfully quit by becoming stronger than cigarettes. You beat it by becoming smarter than cigarettes. And I always explain that's really not a big challenge considering cigarettes have no IQ whatsoever. If you have a real basic understanding of the addiction you're fighting, you really have the tools in place to overcome the grip that cigarettes have. Even though cigarettes have basically what seems to be an ironclad grip on an active smoker, everyone has the ability to successfully quit smoking by, in a sense, understanding what they're fighting and putting that information into that fight. Some people, though, get to the point where they think that they understand things so well that there's no way they could go back to smoking. See, they hate smoking now. They hate the smell. They understand the addiction aspects. They understand how it was ruining their lives. They understand the dangers of smoking. It's all so much part of their persona now. The way that they see cigarettes is just in such a disgusting manner. They have no interest in smoking whatsoever anymore. They look at people who smoke in total pity, and there's just no way that a person with that great of an attitude and that amount of understanding could ever go back to smoking. I've seen people who were running clinics who fit into this criteria that they used to be smokers, now they don't smoke anymore, they hate smoking because of all the horrible things it does, and they feel like now that they even run programs, this kind of somehow makes them incapable of going back to smoking. I've encountered people like this who ran clinics who ended up being smokers again. The way I met them was they were coming to my clinic to desperately quit smoking because their employment at this point were, helping people to stop, and they were active smokers. How did they lose those quits? Well, they thought because they understood everything so well, there was no way they could relapse. They were wrong. There was one way they could relapse. They take a puff on a cigarette. It's the way anybody relapses. Just understanding everything doesn't now make you, and again, stronger than your cigarettes are. They weren't as smart as they thought they were. They weren't as informed as they thought they were. If they were, they wouldn't have taken the puff. Their ability to take that puff was propagated by the fact that they thought, because they were so well informed, that they couldn't be a smoker again. But they weren't well informed enough in a way to either have ever heard not to take that puff or to somehow believe that they were different. They are not different. I have videos already addressing this in different angles on are you smarter than your cigarettes? Are you, there's one called Are You Smart Enough to Wear an IQ Pin? I have a few other videos that kind of touch on this in other directions too that I'm going to attach into the video description here. But basically it comes down to don't ever let yourself think because smoking is so disgusting to you now that there's no way you can go back. There is a way. It's the way anyone goes back who goes back to smoking. It's they introduce nicotine into their system again and it takes them down. If you understand not to do that and then you implement that understanding, you'll be able to keep your quit going for the rest of your life, to stay smoke-free, and to get to a point where you do despise smoking in all likelihood, if you understand the full implication. When you get to that point, all you'll need to do to sustain the quit then, which will be a little bit of an easier job because you won't be tempted to go back, but to understand that even at times where somehow a cigarette seems like a good idea at a moment, to understand if you take it, you're going to lose the quit, and you don't want to go back to that way of life. You've acknowledged already you don't want to be a smoker again. Well, if you don't want to be a smoker, all you need to do now is stick to the personal commitment that you hopefully made the day you stopped to never take another puff.